It was a bone-chilling night. The icy rain fell down in torrents, with the slightest breeze flowing through the windows, separating the thick, grey curtains. The old wooden floorboards began to creak. A dark shadow caught my eye out of the darkness, with the only light visible being the moon's glare. The shadow began to get larger and larger. The floorboards creaked again, but not as faint as the last. The shadow was at its peak. A nose, a very long nose, started to creep forward. Then a head, closer and closer. It all started to become reality. "Mum, where are you? Help me!" As I lay down in my dark room, looking up at the ceiling, the water leak in the top right hand of the corner was visible under the full moon's bright light. All summer, not a drop of rain, and now this, not a noise separating the silence of my room, except for the repetitive pattern of the leak. I tried to roll over on my side. The noise would not go away. It was cemented into my brain. The echo was torturous. As I lay still in the darkness, with only a sheet covering my pale, cold body, I knew I had to address yet another problem. An open window bashing against its sill. I hopped out of bed and began to walk towards the door. The light from the full moon revealed my path. I knew the cold breeze was coming from the bathroom, since it was blowing straight in from the west. Step by step, I walked along the wooden floor and slipped into the bathroom, passing by the broken tap and the basin covered with dead insects that had entered through one of the many cracks in the roof. Above the toilet lay an old window disguised in sticky thin cobwebs and dark red rust coating the metal window trim. I placed both of my hands on the glass and slowly managed to push the rusty trim back into place. Back to my bedroom step by step, then against the silence, yet another noise caught my attention. A slow creak, which sounded like the old floorboards that lay downstairs. I walked across the hallway, cast my eyes to the left. I could see the weather outside. The winds were gentle, and the rain was falling steadily. Another creak brought me back to the present. Then out of my peripheral vision, I saw the shadow was back. It moved. It became larger. A nose, a head, a body. Oh my gosh, there was someone down there. The creaking floorboard was not just a figment of my imagination. I could hear the beat of my heart as it pumped the blood through my veins. I didn't want to make a sound, not a sniffle, not a breath. I dropped to the floor, hoping the stranger wasn't going to find their way any closer. I slithered my way on the floor, desperately trying to not be heard. I was unable to find the right position that prevented me from making a noise. I had to be conscious, not to move a single muscle. It was dark, silent, only the weather bringing any form of noise. I was petrified, holding my breath and clenching my teeth as hard as I could, hoping not to hear any more movement from another living soul. I listened to a steady pattern, one foot after another, stepping up the stairs. My hands began to sweat, little beads of perspiration forming on my forehead. It was unbearable, my heart pounding like a drum, tensing all my muscles in my body, grinding my teeth. I cast my eyes over to the wall at the end of the hallway. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to let my breath go. It felt good for those 2 seconds. I'm sure I wasn't the only one that heard from the sharp silence that followed. I knew I now had a target on my back. I had been discovered. The footsteps became closer and closer, competing with the deafening rhythm of my heartbeat. The shadows started to appear, and then a hand reaching out for my light switch. And at the same time, a sentence found its way to my coherent thoughts, past the sound of my beating heart.
"Charlie, are you still awake?"